Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing my series on taking these amazing isolated vocal tracks, and I'm doing a vocal analysis, a vocal tutorial. I'm talking about the recording process, a little backstory about the band, etc. Next up is Brian Johnson. The band is AC/DC. The song is You Shook Me All Night Long. Now, if you guys wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be super appreciated. Don't forget to ring the bell so you get notifications of new videos I have coming out. And I also have a singing course for you guys interested in wanting to learn how to sing. I cover all these different styles in my singing course to help you guys get great at singing. You can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. Also, I have a free singing forum over there with gobs of singers, like 20 some odd thousand singers over there, all negotiating, talking about how to get good at singing as well, talking about the course, how to do the course, and so on. So without much further ado, I want to get started. Now, I like to talk about a few things of the way I remember songs and the way they actually are. We've talked a lot about that. But I remember Brian in a lot of his stuff singing a lot heavier in my mind than what we're going to find out, in my opinion, okay? Now, I know that Bon Scott sang even lighter than Brian, and Brian is a much girthier, throatier, kind of bringing up a lot of muscle mass into the throat. We're going to talk about that as we go through this. But I didn't realize exactly how much until I isolated the vocal track, and then at some point we'll isolate, a Bon Scott, and we'll kind of A-B them together, and we'll kind of take a listen to them. But let's just get started. Here it is.
She was a fast machine, she cocked the motor clean. She was the best damn woman that I ever seen. She had the sightless eyes, telling me no lies, knocking me out with those American thighs, taking more than a share, had me fighting for air. She told me to come, but I was already there, 'cause the world started shaking, the earth was quaking, my mind was aching, and we were making it in you.
Okay, I'm going to stop before the chorus. Now, if you listen, she was a fast machine, motor clean. Everything's. He uses a very compressed, raised laryngeal position. And if you notice, whatever you see, like Rock in Rio, and Rock in Rio, and then what's it, River Plate, I think is one of their biggest concerts. You see some of the, I think it's River Plate I'm actually thinking of. You see some of these different performances, and after about 4 or 5 songs, he's got to let his larynx settle. So if you like that sound, he's actually kind of splitting in between a little head voice and some mixed voice, and then again, pulling a lot of muscle mass or a lot of girth up into the throat. So, she was a fast machine! Hey! Rather than opening up the sound, he's got it really compressed in the throat. And he's really not singing as heavy as I remembered, or as you probably thought too. Now, I want to put the band in just for a second, because what it does is a little deceiving. And that's that when you hear the vocal with the band is creating so much energy. We've talked a lot about this. Like 1 minute, the vocal may be creating most of the energy. The next minute, the band's creating most of the energy. Sometimes they both create a lot of energy. But listen to it with the track, and you can see what I mean. Check it out. Okay, so if you notice that there's... And it's not that there's so much energy in the band. Maybe it's more that it's the pocket and the phrasing of the way he sings into the rhythm that gives us that, that excitement. And of course, it's just a great lick. And there's a lot of where we remember where we were when we first heard the song, or how we grew up listening to these kinds of songs. And so there's an element there that really gives us more energy, I think, than is really there. So we'll check out the rest of this.
Taking more than a share, had me fighting for air. She told me to come, but I was already there, 'cause the world started shaking, the earth was quaking, my mind was aching, and we were making it in you. Shook me all night long.
We're going to listen to the rest of this chorus in a second. If I came to you, and I want you guys to be really honest with yourselves, and let's pretend, which is really hard to do, but let's pretend we never heard this song before, ever. And I went, she was a fast machine, she kept my motor clean, she was a best damn woman that I ever seen, she had sightless eyes telling me no lies, right? And I came to you and I said, hey, I got a new song for you, and this is the vocal. Would you say, wow, that's pretty melodic, or wow, that's a hit, right? Probably not, because the vocal in and of itself, what really makes the song is the rhythm and the groove of the rhythm guitar, and then when the drums come in, and the vocal, the way it phrases against that is what actually makes the dynamic and the essence of the song be wow. So, by the way, I also remember the background choruses to these choruses being much bigger than they really are. So I actually have a version of this I've done myself. I'll put it in the description. You guys can hear my version, so you can kind of see. But I kind of sang it a little heavier. I sang it more like if David Coverdale were to sing an AC/DC song or something. But I remember the choruses being bigger. So in my version, I made it a little bigger, right? And there's a tendency to want to make it a little more wet with a little more reverb and stuff like that. So I had to be really careful not to do that, because that kind of really destroys the essence of the song. Now, we've done quite a few AC/DC tunes. In fact, we have one with Sarah Loera right now that's just killing it on Facebook. I think we've got, man, I think she had a million views in like less than 30 days or something. And then we reposted it and she got like another 800,000 in like less than a month. And so we have a couple of those and we have more coming your way. But anyways, let's check out the rest of
Yeah, you shook me all night long. Walking double time on the seduction line. She is one of a kind, so just mine, oh my. Wanna know applause or just another cause? Made a meal out of me and come back for more.
me. Yeah. Hey. Raise it. And he's really locking down. That larynx is just, if you go like this, you go, yeah. That's that sound. Flirting with disaster and then that heavy load, right? You've got this really raised laryngeal position, and it's really hard to get out of that position. If you want to go up top and sing some notes higher than that, you can't go, you can't do the you're kind of caught at the top of your range because of the way the larynx seats in the throat. So it's really important to understand how to change those laryngeal positions. I talk to all you guys, I point out exactly in my singing course how to change it, how to manipulate the larynx. We start first with a lower laryngeal position, then we relax it to a neutral position, and we can use that for effect. Glenn Hughes, they all laugh when she said Ben, he's got that kind of cool, it's a tone. A lot of people use it, Paul Rogers, Paul Carrick, whatnot. But in this case, singing this high, if you notice, those singers drop their larynx and they go to more of an open throat. Said right? They'll drop it to get more range than Brian is doing now. But this is his sound, and it works big time for him. So anyway, let's continue. Here we go.
That's a cool me down to take another round. Now we're back in the ring to take another swing. That the walls was shaking, the earth was quaking, my mind was aching.
When it comes to this,
another swing. That the walls was shaking, the earth was quaking, my mind was aching.
didn't you guys kind of remember thinking that this was sung a lot heavier and a lot harder? So this is a lesson for you guys out there that want to sing some AC/DC or stuff like that. Try it in head voice first. She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. She was the best damn woman that and then you can start to add a little chest into that sound, but don't get to the point where you feel like you're going hoarse or you feel like you're really straining the throat. Because if you really can start out first in a head voice position, she turned another night on the seduction line. Yeah, he made a meal out of me and come back for more. Had to cool it down, take another round, right? You can kind of start there first, and that's not the way he's doing it actually. He is bringing some chest into the sound, but not all the time. Like sometimes he vacillates between chest and head, and you can hear him kind of switching back and forth. That's a really important component to this, so let's continue here.
Knock me out of that, you shook me
all night long, right? You can kind of hear that switch as you go.
Every second in you shook me all night long.
Right? You can, and by the way, there's a lot of, I just come off of doing, You know, like Tom Kiefer, for example, Cinderella, and I just did one on Cinderella, and you can hear Kiefer shifting into this kind of same exact kind of compression, you know, with the head voice, because he used a lot of that head voice compression, distorted head voice compression, and it's a whole lot easier. You know, Painkiller is another example of that with Rob Halford. It's a whole lot easier to sing in a head voice position and bring some chest into it rather than trying to muscle chest all the way up. And I actually muscle chest all the way up in my video. So I encourage you to check it out. Hey, grade me. Tell me how I did. Say I suck, say it's good, say it's somewhere between. No, it's not like Brian. Yeah, I mean, I did it like me, you know, and that's cool. I hope. But anyway, so let's move on.
You really took me in, yeah. Shook
Yeah! He's got that.
me all night long. Ah, you.
Oh, you hear that? Going into head voice like that, right?
Shook me all night long.
By the way, do that with me first. I want you to go, ah, kind of in falsetto. Ah, we're going to make it brighter. Ah, going to make it a little brighter. Ah, now we're going to make it really bright. Ah, now we're going to add some distortion. Right, and that's kind of really what he's doing. I mean, it's a lot. It's really deceiving thinking that his range or his chest range is really that high. It's high, there's no doubt, and it's hard, and there's no doubt to do this stuff. But it's not. It's a little smoke and mirrory. You know what I mean? Like it's not as crazy as it comes off, and it is very doable. And I cover this all in my singing course.
Yeah, you shook me all night long. You really got me in you. Shook me all night long. Yeah, you shook me. Yeah, you shook me all night long.
Right. By the way, if you listen to the very end of the word long and you hear it kind of crack and chirp as he goes down, it's a total dead giveaway that he was using head voice at the end. Check it out. Listen real close. At the very end, when he comes down, you hear the chirp of going back down into chest from the register break or, you know, falsetto break as he's coming out. Listen real close. Right? He went long. He has a chirp. Now, I have a technique that I use in open throat technique. Where I can come down into my chest and you don't hear it. It's by training the throat to stay open. As I'm going in and out of the passaggio, which is that register break that you hear, I've developed a crazy specific technique to get us up and out of these different vocal types, which makes you think, oh gosh, it was Steve Perry, you know, is he in head voice? Yeah, he used a lot of head voice. Mickey Thomas, he used a lot of head voice. You know, all these different guys. Yeah, they're masters at it, and that's the goal. That's to train the chest voice and the head voice, then fuse them together through the passaggio to have a mixed voice and have one long, powerful note, so you're not straining and pulling chest, unless that's a desired effect and that's what you're looking for in order to be able to get to these really cool places. Anyway, gang, hope you enjoyed it, and I have a lot more coming your way, and please definitely stick around and check out my next video.